tonight's public hearing of the Board of Appeals of the Town of Duxbury to order. We have an agenda tonight where I believe that several matters folks have requested continuances. So why don't we do those first, and I'll do them in case number order. 2024-04, which is 18 Jocelyn Avenue. What date would you like to be continued to?
Well, can I
Yeah,
make
go.
a request?
Yeah.
Thank you. I would like to make a request that we get continued, but also that we re-notify abutters and the Clipper so that we can start anew with board members, and we'll do a new presentation at the next meeting. I understand from the town attorney that that is an appropriate option for us.
Amy said good?
Yes.
All in favor of that request? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you. And so far as the dates in July, either of those dates are available. And
What are the
we'd be
two
happy to
dates in
see.
July?
July 11th or July 25th?
July 25th is 2 days before I start a jury trial, so I think July 11th would be better for you.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. The next one that I at least understood was requesting a continuance is case number 2024-13, which is 7 Spring Street. Did they request a continuance?
Yes, Mr. Chair. They submitted a request to continue till June 13th.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Can we also, in this case, re-notify the abutters as you're going to do in the other case?
In all likelihood, there will not be a renotice. Once the case is opened, the abutters are asked to pay attention to what the resumption dates are, and the resumption date is going to be June 13th. I'm going to call a couple of these out of order because they're all noticed for the same time. Have we opened 2024-11, which is the 33 Grandview Avenue?
No.
Who's here on 33 Grandview Avenue?
Have you voted to continue this?
Yes, to June 13th. Well, you're welcome to stay, but, yeah.
You can hear my voice today.
Yeah. But before we open this public hearing, I just wanted to note something that was noted by the planning board, and which is an observation that I ascribe to, that the application is not complete. And I don't really know why we would go forward on an incomplete application rather than have you complete the application and do this on another date.
Sure, if I may.
Yeah.
Brian Barry, petitioner for this. My architect was intending to be here this evening. Obviously, he's not here right now. He submitted the paperwork. Custom House is doing the build for us, and I know that they met with the planning department. But I'm not sure what the deficiency is in the paper.
Half the application isn't even filled out.
Oh, okay, great. Fair enough. Okay, for in terms of timeline, so he'll pull that back and then resubmit it?
He can just resubmit it, and
Sure.
we'll put you on it's been noticed, we'll put you on the public hearing.
Sure.
But once he's done with it, ask for a hearing date, we'll put you on.
Wonderful.
So we're going to continue?
Yeah, we're not even going to open it. Just fix it, and
Sure.
and you'll get a new date.
I'll speak with him. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Again, I'm going to do these out of order. Who can sit on 15 Washington Street?
Not
All right. So,
I can. I'm in.
all right, Tanya, can you sit on 15 Washington Street? Okay. So if you only have 4 board members and you're looking for a special permit, you need all 4. And if you want to go forward with 4, we're happy to entertain that and move forward with 4. And if it gets continued, in all likelihood, somebody will listen to the tape and we'll do a Mullins affidavit, so you would have 5 the next time. But if you want to go forward with 4, I'm gonna open it. Okay.
Four that would be sitting down?
It's, you can't sit, Freeman can't sit, so it's Emmett, myself, Tanya Trevison, and Boris Goyners.
That's fine, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to read the public hearing notice. The Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing tonight here to consider the application of Victoria Lloyd Homes LLC, care of Douglas Troyer, Pierce Atwood, for special permit under Articles 400 and 900, Sections 401.2, 410, 421.3, 421.4, 421A.3, 421A.4, and 906.2 of the Duxbury Protective Bylaw. The property is located at 15 Washington Street, parcel number 110-771-057 of the Duxbury Assessor's Map, consisting of 1/10 of an acre in a residential compatibility and neighborhood business district 1 district. It is owned by Robert W. Golly, the representative of the estate of Kathy M. Kelly. The applicant proposes to change the use from a hair salon to a retail store selling home furnishings and antiques with an interior design office. A special permit is required. The application may be viewed at the town's website. Folks who are differently abled, we would make accommodations for. And pursuant to the Acts of 2023, Chapter 2, this meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public and board members, this hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless required by law. You can watch this live in real time via the government access channels, Verizon 39 or Comcast 9, or pac-tv.org/Duxbury if you want to watch replays on YouTube. Because we have 2 members who are in fact remote, if we drop out, we have to stop.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, we have an application. Yeah. We have an application. A memorandum that was submitted in support of the special permit, which I will let council summarize rather than me do.
Understood.
And we got a site plan, we got photos of a property that everybody in Duxbury is aware of, and a certified plot plan. The Conservation Administrator said they reviewed it, and it doesn't fall within the restriction of the Concom. No further review is required. Board of Health says that there was a passing Title V inspection. The existing septic is designed for 300 gallons per day with an addition of a tight tank required for previous business owner, which accommodated a hair salon business. The system is adequately sized for a retail store with home furnishings and interior design. There's an email from Lester Lloyd and Mary Lynn Carson at 21 Washington Street, who are relatively close. They're neighbors to the rear. We look forward to the painting and maintenance they intend to carry out in the former London looks. We believe the change of use to retail and office will be a low-intensity change of the use, and that change will be an asset to Hall's Corner and the community. We got an email from Heather and Mark Mercer at Reed's Jewelers. They are expressing strong support. Stacy Walsh and Michael Skoke at 57 Jocelyn Ave. They too support the project. My recollection, and I don't have it with me, is that the planning board deferred to us.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chair.
All right. So the way this works is we'll hear from the applicant, and then anybody, the board will ask any questions that the board is interested in having answered, and then we'll open it up for public comment. Just to be clear, this application seems pretty straightforward, so I don't
I got
think
you.
we need to get into the minutia.
I got you. Good evening. My name is Doug Troyer from Pierce Atwood. I represent the applicant Lloyd Home LLC. With me tonight is Victoria Lloyd, who's going to be the operator at this premises. This site has a little bit of a history. Going back to 1967, it was originally a beauty salon and an attorney office. Then in '71, it changed from the attorney office into a manufacturer representative office. '73 basically turned the whole thing into a travel agency. From '73 to '86, it looks like it may have been a Hingham Institution for Savings, and then from 1993 on, where the current owner purchased, it looked like it went back to a full hair salon. It's a pre-existing non-conforming property. It's located in the town's neighborhood business district 1. The lot is undersized at 3,900 and some change square feet. The building itself is 679,000 square feet. The applicant is not looking to change anything on the exterior, is only looking for a permit to change the use back to
You said
a
679,000 square
I was
feet?
gonna bring that up.
679 square feet. I apologize. 679 square feet. Very small building. Yeah, how come
It's like
600?
7 times bigger than a Target.
Exactly, exactly. In essence, she's looking to put it to a retail store selling home furnishings, antiques with interior design, office use at the property, as well as kind of run. She has a little bit of an interior design business that she's going to kind of run out of there. But the main goal of this, and she's here tonight if the board would like to hear operational issues, is to primarily do some internal renovations, bring it up to speed, and then basically operate kind of a home furnishing / antique store out of this location. And then for those folks that desire some internal design assistance, she'll basically provide that as well. My memorandum of law goes through the various elements in grave detail. I believe that we have met the criteria for this and respectfully request this board to grant the requested special permits. And if there's any specific questions, we'd be more than happy to answer those questions tonight.
My first question is for Jim. Are we amending an existing special permit or issuing a new one?
Well, there is an existing special permit
Right.
with a change of use.
Yep.
The problem with that is the last special permit on file is a variance. And it goes all the way back to 1973. I couldn't find anything on this site from 1973 to the present. So somebody changed the use back to a hair salon at some point in time, but there's nothing of record that I could locate. So that's why I went this route, to go a straight, brand-new special permit. Instead of amending, go straight new special permit to avoid any possible issues. There's no conditions on these 73, 71, 67 that would impact any concern in which this board would have. So that's really the main reason I did it this way, instead of seeking an amendment.
I don't know the answer to that, quite frankly, because there's a special permit exists, it's pre-existing non-conforming, it's a change of use, does require a special permit, and typically, in my experience here, it's an amendment to that special
We
permit.
just amend the old one.
That's right.
Right.
The only, any kind of consideration is, with the new use, is a massive improvement on the parking requirement compared to the hair salon one that was there,
Well,
so
that was the only other question I had. Is there
it's totally
sufficient
fine.
parking?
What's proposed is only 2 spaces are what's really required for this.
Why, was parking, did somebody feel parking was a problem before?
Well, it was a hair salon with a lot of transient traffic
I
and all
drive
that,
by it
but-
like 100 times a day, and there was never,
No, I didn't get any complaints, but the
Right, right.
use is a little bit
Sure.
different. But square
There's
footage
a lot,
wise and
there's
everything.
less intensity of parking
Exactly.
there.
So I have no concerns, just
So
that
let's
it's a
just-
change of use that I gotta put in
amend
front of
the
you. 'cause-
permit.
Yeah, but we don't know what the permit,
I don't know which
you
permit
can't
to
find the
amend.
permit.
I don't know which permit to amend. There's nothing of record since 1973.
Well, that's
And I don't
interesting.
see, I could obviously, there's nothing prohibiting me coming in for a brand-new special permit for that use
Isn't that what you just, well, you
that I'm aware of.
came in for just a change of use.
So it's just,
And there's no permit for me to amend other than a 1973 variance. So
so since 73, nobody's come in and asked to change this place,
somebody at some point in time changed it to a bank. Then somebody at some point in time in 1993 changed it back to a hair salon. I don't
but
see
never,
it.
but never flowed through here.
Not
It
that I can
surprised me
find
in
in your record.
'93 that we didn't do something about
Yeah,
it.
me too. Can't
But
speak
we
for that. I
went
don't-
through
I don't-
I mean, Laura
No, I
Lauren
understand.
assisted me big time beforehand, really tracking down the prior records, and unfortunately, the only thing that we were able to find is what it was.
It's kind
So
of,
that's the reason I just try to do it the easy and simple way, is just come in for a change of use, a special permit that I'm allowed to do, and basically start anew, so that from this point forward, there is no gap. It's basically, this is it, this is a special permit, this is what it is. If anyone wants to amend that special permit, you're kind of back at a good starting point, instead of, I'm really rectifying a gap, is really what I'm doing.
And the issue that I have is that if we're amending a variance,
I don't know if it's a variance or a special permit, because it's the 73, I don't know how they characterized it back then.
Tanya, do you have questions? All right. All right, let's open it up.
One more thing,
Yeah.
just for the record, I believe there's a significant amount of other letters of support, which I don't think we need to read into the record, I think we
I
just
didn't see
add
'em.
them to the record. But we do have,
15 altogether.
All right, 15 letters of support and none.
Add them to the record.
and
That's
none-
all I'm asking.
And none in opposition.
yeah, none in opposition. I don't need them read.
Yeah. All right. Is there anyone either here, and I don't think it's anybody here because there's nobody here, other than the applicant and one other person, or on the wall, meaning people who have come in via Zoom, who would like to weigh in on this? All right. Boris, do you have any questions?
I'm good.
All right. I'm going to move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, aye, Wayne.
I am, I Freeman. Can't vote.
Okay. Did anybody want to have a discussion? All right. All right, I'm going to move that we amend the existing permitting to permit the use as described in the public hearing notice. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, Wayne.
I am it.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
You
you.
guys have a good evening.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah, Lauren, thank you so much for your help.
Okay, so the last thing we have on tonight is 1 Abrams Hill Road. Did this get opened?
No,
No.
we'd have a forum.
Okay, and do we have enough people to sit on it?
Again, he's in the same position with 4.
You're welcome to go forward with 4. you can go forward before we can open this, but I'll make a comment before we do. Have you looked at the Harbor Masters? No?
I have. I spoke with Jake.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so let's,
Happy to move forward with 4.
okay, perfect. So I'm going to read the public hearing notice. The Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing tonight in via Zoom to consider the application of Camilla Wilson Hammer for a special permit under Articles 400, 900, Sections 402, 404, 404.6, 404.7, 404.8, 404.20, 410, and 906.2 of the bylaw. The property is located at 1 Abrams Hill Road, parcel number 116-092-000 of the assessor's map, consisting of 1.72 acres in the residential compatibility, flood hazard overlay, and wetlands protection overlay districts, and owned by the applicant. The applicant proposes to construct a residential pier. A special permit is required. Again, we're going to proceed both in person and via Zoom. We have an application. We have a drawing from Duxbury Construction. Means you're out, right? Yeah. Dated February 22, 2023. That reflects the manner and construction and location of the pier. The Board of Health had no comment on the proposed pier. The Conservation Administrator indicated that the applicant filed a notice of intent in the receipt of an order of conditions, and that the orders are attached. No further action is required. The Select Board voted unanimously to defer to us. The Design Review Board provided a memo that says they would like to make the following recommendations. The only concern of the design review regards to the boardwalk pier is the distance between the proposed float and the Great Hairy Foot Salt Marsh. Please verify that there will be adequate distance for boats traveling through the narrow waterway. There are a few moorings in the area, and a boat will need to negotiate both the float and the moored boats. The board has no objection to the proposed boardwalk pier. Okay. Why don't we, is there anything else?
Just the email from the harbor master
Oh.
that you spoke of.
Yeah, the email from the harbor master expressed some concern with respect to the proximity of the pier to the mooring fields. All right. Why don't we hear from the applicant?
Thank you. My name's Kevin Dollum. I'm here to represent Camilla Hammer at 1 Abrams Hill. Our proposed project includes the installation of a seasonally removable boardwalk, gangway, and float to provide recreation access to Duxbury Bay. Portions of the proposed project are located within the subject coastal storm floodage, coastal beach, salt marsh, and tidal flat. The proposed project design is detailed below. Removable boardwalk. The proposed boardwalk is about 88 feet long in length and 28 inches in width. It will consist of an aluminum frame with wooden planks spaced to allow adequate sunlight penetrate below. 5 sections bearing 17 to 20 feet will make up the boardwalk and supported by 12 helical anchors. The helical anchors will be 4 to 5 feet embedded into the salt marsh. All sections of the boardwalk will be installed each spring, secured to the permanent piles, and then removed in the fall and stored on upland during the winter season. The gangway is proposed to be 30 feet in length and 28 inches in width as well. Gangway is aluminum. It will be secured to the end of the boardwalk and extended to the float. Gangway small is a small portion of the salt marsh. but does not require additional piles aside from the ones we noted above. The float is 10 by 20 feet, and will be secured to the end of the gangway, and will utilize skids to minimize disturbance to the tidal flat. No additional piles needed for the float, as they'll be stored seasonally as well. Other than that, everything
There's a pedestrian access stairway
on the, yes, there is a pedestrian access stairway.
On the
Yep,
boardwalk
right by the
part.
seawall, correct.
Yeah. Don't we require measurements to the nearest other pier?
The nearest other pier is the dilapidated one on our property that we would look to tear down in the process.
Oh, the existing one.
So that will be removed.
That would be removed. It's more of a hazard than anything at this point, kids and stuff.
So this pier is in a better, the new pier is in a better position from the mooring field. The other one is on top of it.
This is much further north.
Yeah.
And after speaking with Jake Emerson today, his concern is just, he couldn't put mooring field in direct relation with a GIS plan and a site plan, so he'd rather just meet on site, make sure that he's comfortable with that location, so that way he knows we're not encroaching on the nearest mooring nearby. And then plus, we have the ability to turn the float. Instead of 10 by 20, we can make it the other direction, which cuts more feet.
Is that, they're not allowing any more moorings down there, are they?
Not that I'm aware of. The mooring, the float itself where it lands, it's still within the tidal flats. It's not even in the canal when it sits, where the moorings are on the opposite side, more easterly of the canal, just so that way they have more water.
So I'll tell you, when I read this application and the submissions, my initial reaction was, how are we going to do this, given Jake's memo, right? I know that my personal preference, but, you know, the board may have other preferences, is for you to have that meeting. You guys agree on that this is
Yeah,
a
my
reasonable...
thought would be maybe suggest the building permit's contingent upon Jake's approval of said location based upon the plan and the mooring field in the area.
If you want to put it that way, I think it's okay, but you put yourself at more risk.
Are you suggesting maybe he goes and meets Jake on site, and then Jake writes a letter and...
It says, I looked at where, we talked about it, I looked at it, it's fine, let's move on.
Yep.
I think that's the, otherwise, if you say, hey, it's contingent on Jake saying yes, if Jake wants to tweak it, we can't do anything about it.
Makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, if he says go 12 feet north or...
We gotta go back,
2 feet
update plan
south.
accordingly and.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my,
Is it staked?
Not right now.
but he's got a good plan.
No,
Yeah,
so Jake can drive by
Yeah.
and see the stake.
right,
Yeah, we
that's
can
true.
stake it out for him.
There's plenty of distance to lot lines with this one, too.
Right. Yeah, my only concern with it was the
Yeah.
mooring field question.
Right.
I would, my inclination, and I'll probably make the motion, is that we continue it to the next hearing date, and in the interim, you confer with the harbor master and come up with an agreed location. Either maybe you just reorient the float, I don't know what you're going to do. And if so, I see this as a pretty straightforward application.
That makes sense.
It's
agreeable.
I concur with that, and the reason being is we have to approve to a plot plan location and the way it's orientated and everything, so it makes the most sense.
All right, so I'm going to actually move that we continue to what, June 13th?
Yes.
All right.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye, Wayne?
Emmett?
I'm for it.
Oh,
I'm for it.
all right. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
all right, we'll see you soon. All right, we got meeting minutes? We got nothing? All right, I'm going to move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye, Wayne?
I thought we had meeting minutes.
We don't.
Says that on, so the agenda's inaccurate? We better repost the agenda then.
Thank
I
you, Boris.
Freeman.
Thank you, Tanya.